we're live with Work the Web support session. It's Sunday. We are a bit behind schedule, I guess, or on schedule in other regards. I was away over the last 5-6 days, which means that I wasn't around to host the regular Tuesday and Thursday session, mostly because I actually didn't bring my laptop with me. I took everything else, but I forgot the laptop, which perhaps wasn't that bad, because uh, I think that my internet connection wasn't that good anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to stream the sessions anyway. So I have Carl with me. Tassilo will be late. I just got a word from Mike that he has a little bit of an emergency, so he can't really join, I guess. Uh, Late if you can. No probs. Right. No problems. Just gonna Slack him. So, Carl, can you fill me in if what's been going on over the last few days while I was away having rest and recreation?
So, from my memory, on Thursday, I think we discussed how to actually do the PRs. So Anya had created PR, I created PR, and Pedro,
Mm.
and we hadn't discussed how to do it. So, for example, I created PR on Agile Ventures, and I pushed my branch to Agile Ventures,
Mm.
whereas Anya had her branch on her own repo. So if I wanted to test her PR, I had to get it from her account.
Ah,
And then
okay.
we kind of discussed, all right, how should we do it?
Mm-hmm.
Right, Tassilo?
Hi,
Hello.
Tassilo. Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Carl is just filling me in on what was going on while I was away having my R&R, rest and recreation, over the
Nice.
last few days. He was telling me that you guys had a discussion about the pull requests and the flow of the pull requests. Is that so?
On
Yes,
Thursday.
yeah, yesterday I also didn't, I wasn't able to join, so I think,
All right. But carry on, Carl. What
Yeah,
else?
so on Thursday. So we decided not to create them on the Agile Ventures repo. Well, we decided basically it doesn't really matter. Both ways are valid, but we'd kind of if Pedro creates a PR, then I'd grab the branch from his GitHub and to test it locally. Then we ran the tests because Pedro also created kind of just a simple test to test out that Cypress is working.
Mm-hmm.
And then yesterday we tried to create a GitHub Actions to get the CI going.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically was sharing my screen and doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not quite there yet because it seemed okay, but I made a mistake because we didn't really read up on GitHub Actions. We just kind of got a template, just got started.
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out my mistake was I added a run npm start,
Mm-hmm.
but it needs to be not a step, but kind of sub-step, because basically it would do npm start and would never finish with that, and then it wouldn't continue with the next steps.
Okay, that's probably why we need this start server and test package. We're gonna take a look at that.
On the other hand, we were hoping to get the CI going because, for example, some people besides the time of running tests locally, I think Pedro didn't have it set up on WSL properly or something. I don't
Right,
know.
right, right. So the WSL is a bit problematic. Hello, Carmen. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Hi, how are you, everyone?
Hello.
oh,
I'm okay.
Hello.
I'm okay. I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back. I was away over the week on a mini vacation here in Sweden. So I missed out on a few sessions, and Carl was just filling me in on what was going on, and so on. So I think that since it's only three of us, I was thinking about doing a bit of Redux or application state in uh, in React, but I wonder if we haven't done it already. Carl, didn't we cover Redux already in a demo?
I don't remember covering Redux. I only remember React.
Okay, so I haven't done Redux yet. Okay, so that's perhaps that is a way to go, or what we could do is to go over. I see that there are 6 PRs pending on the Senf client repository. And I wonder whether it would be beneficial for us if we went over these, merged everything together so that it makes it into the code base. I mean, it's not going to be deployed or anything, but so we can get a little bit of an overview of them uh, and see what's up. And since we are recording this, I can give a little bit of feedback on what I think about the flow, and perhaps one good thing would be to set up a document about the flow of how we. Now that you guys have tried a few things and uh, made your first steps toward creating pull requests and working collaboratively and so on. Perhaps we can set up like a document with a step-by-step guide for how things ought to be handled and done. What do you think about that?
Yes.
So
Yes, definitely. So.
if we get to choose between Redux and setting up a workflow, what would you guys choose? Go on, Carl.
I'd say to do the workflow document, because then it's done.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Tassilo?
Well, I'd love to hear about Redux, but I think workflow is probably in terms of the project probably more makes more sense. But I would love to hear or to talk about both. So
all right, and Carmen?
Sorry, I was mute. I honestly I think having a workflow it's kind of like one of the first steps that we need to have a clarification. I was a little lost and confused yesterday, so I think that would be awesome. And if we can be greedy, I'm all about Redux too. So maybe we can try to do both.
You get your chance because if we don't do it today, we're going to do it on Tuesday anyway. So that's
okay.
We're still going to get it.
It's just like I like to be greedy sometimes. So
gotcha. No problems. I love it.
Thank you.
I like it. I like that. Chima, how you doing, brother? Long time.
I'm okay. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank
you. Hello,
everyone. Go on, Carl.
I just wanted to say people are kind of expecting the lectures to be on Tuesday and Thursday anyway.
I know, but I did mention that since we missed this last Tuesday and last Thursday, that I would do something over the weekend. But it doesn't really matter. Let's go with the internal document. Let's get started with going over the PRs, and then and then write up the document. I see that there are 11 closed pull requests. Last time I checked, which was a few days ago. Oh, go on, Carl. I see you raise your hand again. Sorry.
One thing I kind of left out. So yesterday, I also accidentally merged a PR on Agile Ventures because I thought that was on my repo.
And
So
was that the create contribution guidelines, or which one was that?
that was with the GitHub Actions workflow.
Okay, cool.
And so this means we've got a workflow on the repo that doesn't work properly. So if someone else pushes their PR, it starts running the test that doesn't work properly.
Okay, we'll check that. We'll check that. All right, let me start from the bottom. So Tassilo created this create license and update dependency. That was me, and then add .env to project. I remember this one. Let's just take a look at this. Files changed. That was the example .env, exactly. That was this one. I remember this one. Okay. And then we had add nvmrc. That was from you, Carl. And that basically adds nvmrc with node version this. Ensure that the project contributors are using the same node version. Absolutely. Good stuff. Right. And they close. So you added the version. Let's see. You added version 16.6, and that is, I guess, totally fine, isn't it? Let me just see if I even have it. 16.5. I have 16.5. So I need to say nvm install 16.6. That's okay. It can run in the background. 16.6 is one of the latest ones, so I guess that's perfectly okay. Did anyone from the project team have any objections to using this version? No. I interpret your silence like that there was no discussion about that. Then 16.
Well, no, not that I know of. I
All
don't
right.
know, Carmen and Mike, I think you talked about it a bit.
No, I'm all good. It works perfectly fine locally.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Then we had another one from Anya. Fixed all warnings in Scream Dialog.js except one. Okay. And you merged that one. Okay. And that was one file that was changed. Removed some of the imports that are not being used, I guess. And remove the layer here. Remove that. Remove this. Change that to string literal. Okay. Remove that. Of course, I should. Oh, you should be watching my stream. But okay, I will of course share my screen. If it becomes really slow, then I won't be sharing that. Then you are gonna have to check this out on Twitch. You do have my Twitch link, I hope. If not, it's Thomas Ochman on Twitch. Let me see. Where am I? Am I sharing yet? No, I'm not sharing yet. Or am I? Why is that not sharing? Hold on a second. What?
I can see your screen.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We need to free up some internal memory here because we're getting some lag. Hold on a second. All right. Right. Okay, so that was merged. Perfect. Let's see the other one. I love this kind of pull requests, but it's even better when they are covered in tests. But that will come, I guess. Right. Let's see. Fragment. Right. Close. Did all of this have to go? That's a lot of stuff. That's good. create MUI team. So, Tassilo, can I ask you why was this removed? This create MUI team?
Well, I have been building and at some points I figured, no, I'm going to move this component to another component, or like I think if I would have worked on it for 2 months more, it would have exploded. So I think it's just my my bad.
So are you saying that this was created somewhere else, or it wasn't never used, or but I don't really understand.
Yes, it might have not even been used anymore. I'm actually not too sure right now about that one.
Right.
I think I moved like I import the theme filter at the top, and therefore I'm not using the stuff here anymore on this component.
Right. Right. So because this is a mix, right? Because right. I can't. So guys, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to go on Twitch to watch the my screen. I can't really share and broadcast at the same time. Is that okay? Because my memory dies on me immediately when that happens. There we go. Right. I can't even use my computer if I do that. I'm sorry about that.
Right. I can't even use my computer.
But yeah, you can probably mute or something. Anyway, okay. So because we either so the reason why I'm asking is because we recently got into this problem in a different in a different project when we onboarded a new developer, that he was creating custom styles besides the MUI theme that we were using. We were using Material UI there as well, and most of the things could be created in the MUI theme there. So this is a bit redundant. Do you understand? Like you using this kind of way to create styling and the overrides or even custom classes in Material UI. So I was just wondering about that, but right, it is what it is. Checkbox, right? All of this went away.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Going through and trying to restyle, and this got messy at some point, and I was also not sure about that.
I got you. I was just wondering. That's it. Cool beans. All right. So that was merged. Great stuff. And then go ahead, Carl.
I just wanted to ask, Material UI, is that the UI framework from Google?
It's. I don't think Google made it. I think that it is based on Google Material UI standard heavily, but I don't think Google is behind that. But I'm not 100% sure actually. But it's a very nice CSS framework. It's easier to work with, in my opinion, than Tailwind. Although I know that Tailwind is considered by many as one of the best ones because it gives you so much freedom and the possibilities. But I am not really fond of that because it's kind of hard to use. Anyways, I'm just gonna look at the Cypress and Superstatic because I assume that this is the one that is setting up the test environment. And let's see, Cypress JSON, then we have this, and then we have the plugins. This is the regular stuff from Cypress. Nothing super sexy here. Commands, right, index, right, package lock JSON has a diff. We have super, right. Right. So this one is redundant. We don't need this one for anything, actually. And this is also the reason why your actions are not really 100% working. We can work with this. We can create a PR to fix this today. I have a different and more flexible way to set up to the test runner involving this start server and test package. It's then you can do it in one command and it works wonders on continuous integration. And also on continuous integration, you can't really run Cypress open. You need to run Cypress run, which is the same thing as open but headless, so it doesn't spin up a browser, if that makes sense.
Question. So that's npx Cypress run.
It could be Cypress run. It doesn't have to be npx actually.
Oh, okay.
Right. Add placeholder file. Let's see. Placeholder files. What is that? Empty file integration keep. Okay. Gotcha. That's just to keep this one around. I understand. Come on. Just want to navigate. I just want to go through the closed ones. Add Cypress run command. That's what he added. Okay. Good. Added npm Cypress run. That's good. Cypress video, Cypress screenshots to Git ignore. That's good. When this application should have a page visit localhost 3000. Right, you should write HTTP localhost here, but it doesn't matter. Title should say right. Cypress run. Okay. I got it. I understand why this was done. But what I wonder about is, I want to take a look at this GH actions. Remember the example measure. Right. Why did you remove the env example, Carl?
Yeah, sorry. So what happened was when I didn't do it on purpose. I created a new branch and I didn't realize that the last commit kind of went over to that branch.
Okay. I got you. So let's see.
And then I thought maybe I should redo the PR, but I mentioned it in the chat, but it got merged despite it, because I guess we figured it's not really that bad that it deleted the example file.
Okay, gotcha. npm run ci run ci run. Right, npm run ci right. We don't have these commands. Right. Okay, never mind.
So the cy run and cy open, I was in one of the things Pedro created. Which commands do you mean?
Right, we're gonna take a look at them. Hold on a second. My fucking computer is just killing me. Hold on a second. The fuck? Why am I on 86%? I don't get it. Fuck. And okay, so just a question about this create contributing guidelines. It was closed 21 hours ago. Why was that?
So basically, I was just trying to push something to get GitHub Actions to run.
Okay.
And after I did that, I found out that you can kind of create a comment without doing anything, like Git commit without a comment to just push nothing.
Gotcha. Right. Okay, let's have a look at the ones that are open still.
So after I also made that mistake of accidentally merging on Agile Ventures, we also created a rule that you can't merge without a review anymore.
Right. That's good. Right, so all warnings from to Agile Ventures main to Arcanio warnings monitor edits. Right. Files changed. Input dialog. Right. So here's okay. So this is a good example of what we should do, and anyone with merge rights should be able to do that, and that is to do a review of the pull request, right? And what I can say at this stage is that I don't know that much about the application, and since there are very few tests in this application at this stage, it's hard for me to review everything, but I wonder. Let's see. Split is better. I wonder, Tassilo, can you do you feel confident with these changes, with those deletions? Because there's a lot of code deleted here. Is this what you want?
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah, I figure actually, I wonder, isn't there maybe even like a plugin at VS Code to like, I think all the like and it says like, no, this value has never been used, then it's
there is one. That's why I mean, when we run the code, that's when we see that.
like,
do you understand? But I don't know about a plugin that will delete them automatically. That could be probably research. I don't know about that though. But if you feel that you're confident with this, then what I am wondering about is the formatting here. I guess we are using 2 spaces. That's okay. So basically what we need to do is to say that we approve, and we can just say looks good to looks good. Review, yeah, looks good, just looks good, and we just approve of that. Then there is a review, and now I assume that this will be mergeable, right? So I can merge this one. Like this. And if we go over to pull requests, we should only see 5 of them, I mean. And that should be okay. And now the question is whether Anya branched off from main, and if there are any merge conflicts, but there isn't, so that looks good. And she actually requested my review, which is very nice of her. So we can take a look at that. Again, some imports, a lot of imports. Okay, that were not used for anything. Use vars, ensure how many. Yeah, we can deal with this later. It's not a problem. Right. A lot of stuff going on here. Right, so I will just approve this one. Because I do assume that she ran the application and it still works for her, right? Otherwise we're fucked. Right, so let's have a look here. Added pull request template and issue template to root folder by Chima. Okay, Chima, can you tell me about this one then? What's up here?
Mike, asked for templates to be created for pull requests and issues. So I just added those folders. I just followed the instructions on GitHub.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
and that's pretty much it. So he took a look at them and asked me for the issues to make some things there into comments, and I've done that, and I've asked for him to take a look.
Okay. All right. So what I'm worried about here is that this is actually not 100% correct, not in terms of the content of the templates, but rather regarding the folder. As far as I'm concerned, but I might be totally wrong on this one. As far as I'm concerned, those templates, they need to be placed into a folder that is called GitHub or something. So I'm just going to do a quick research on this.
That's an option on the GitHub page. There are about 3 different places that you can put them.
Right.
Yeah. So that's one option.
But have you tried?
If that's what you're most comfortable with, then that's fine.
I'm not sure. Well, it doesn't really matter. But the only thing I'm worried about is that we can have it here as long as they work. Do you understand? Like when we create an issue, that it actually works. Have you tried if this works?
No.
Okay. Let me just.
I was hoping that Mike would take a look at.
Yeah. I got it. GitHub. Yes, go ahead, Carl.
I don't know these templates. Is it that if I create a PR, it will kind of auto-populate, or can someone explain how it works?
Yeah, that's exactly what it does. So when you create a pull request, it will auto-populate the description, or if you create an issue, that will auto-populate the issue with a structure, and then the developer needs to kind of fill that in. Do you understand, right? So that's exactly what it does. So it's very convenient. Right. Issue templates for configuring issue templates for your repository. Using template, you can specify a title and description. Right. But where do I have to place them? Git and navigate settings, individuals, issues, get set a templates. Right. Bug report. Okay, so you can configure that. Well, that doesn't create a PR template. Let's have a look. Hello, Marble. Going fine. I'm back from vacation, trying to catch up with what's been going on while I was away, and at the moment we are just going over some of the PRs on the project for the team, and at this very moment we are creating. We're dealing with the thing that we want some templates for our pull requests and for our issues, and there is a PR pending on that, and we're trying to get that to work. And my concern was that they need to be placed in a specific folder, but I am not 100% sure whether that is the case or not. you can create pull request template subdirectory in any of the supported folders. Multiple pull request templates and use the template query parameter to specify the template. Yeah, whatever. Right. Pull. No, it seems like you can just do it exactly the way you did it. So this to make your pull request template visible in the repository's docs. Right, that's not a problem. To store your file in a hidden directory, name the pull. Right, but you don't have to do this. Okay, I understand. Good. Then we're all good on that. Let's have a look. What did you add? Issue template. Please answer the following questions for yourself before submitting an issue. Okay, so here is my problem with this. Like, we are using issues as part of the, project on ZenHub and so on. So, submitting an issue. I don't have a problem too much with this. We can always override this later. Because so this template is more about, like, if you submit a bug request or like an issue with that there's something wrong with the application. Do you understand? And not the way we kind of use issues on this in this repository, because we use issues as, in part of our Kanban flow. Do you understand?
I see.
So I wonder whether this is actually a good template for us to use. Yeah. I think we could I can merge this, and then we can create another chore where we just modify this issue template to the Kanban flow. Do you understand? Or do you feel like you want to do that in this PR?
So I don't think I was here when you talked about the Kanban. So I'll have to catch up on that.
Right.
Well, I remember us talking about Kanban versus Scrum, but to me it also wasn't sure exactly what issue means. And when we're talking about the labels, it was also
right. So forget about the issue altogether, right? I mean, because like in the regular GitHub, in the regular flow, when we use just GitHub as a place where we store repositories, issues are regularly used for this particular purpose that Shima just use it for, which is basically report something that is wrong with the application, right? Which is and then if we were to use those issues for that purpose, then this would be perfect. However, since we are using ZenHub, and in ZenHub we have we are creating a project backlog and then moving it over to in progress or done or whatever, which is the Kanban flow. And we're not going to address all those things right now. But since those are based on issues, then the issue is not so much an error report, but rather a to-do item.
Yeah. So it basically can encompass more than just bugs.
Exactly. Yeah. Much more. Well, bugs will become just a very narrow use case for issues
I understand
in this flow. So the question to you is, would you like to read up on or try to create
yeah, I would.
Right. So your task would be basically to take a look at some of these issues here in ZenHub, or you can access them directly from the issues view on GitHub, and try to find a common denominator between them, right? So you can create a template out of that.
I understand.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay. So I will not review it yet. You can just take this with you and rework this, basically.
No worries.
Good stuff. All right. Then we have test GH actions. Let's have a look at that. Tests. Run tests. Go on, Tassilo.
I wonder, I just saw that you have one item in the sprint backlog, and I don't see that in my view.
I don't have anything in my sprint backlog.
Wasn't there like add NVRMC or something in there?
Nope.
Like in ZenHub?
I am on ZenHub now. Will be that on Twitch soon. Nothing there.
Okay. Damn. That's weird. Okay, but okay.
Right. Well,
Sorry.
perhaps it should be, or you know, I don't know if there is something.
Maybe the page was cached, but since the thing was
Right.
the PR was merged, maybe it appeared for a moment.
Right. Not sure. Could be something like that. Anyway, right. Cypress Run, Ubuntu, Actions Checker. Right, we're gonna take a look at this. I don't know much about Actions yet, but we will take a look at this. Just gonna go through the others of this test YAML workflow. So are these two addressing like 82 and 80? Are they addressing the same thing or?
So GitHub Actions. So which one's 82?
Test YAML workflow.
Yeah, it's the same. And I created a test GH Actions same way I did with the contributing, to just kind of like push something to get it running, to see it working when I didn't know better.
Gotcha. Right. Okay. But then we have another one from YouTube about the finger pointer cursor for buttons. Right. Tab not active. Yeah.
Yeah. Thomas, you have to forgive me. I'll have to leave now.
Okay. No problemos. Let me know when you push something on that one. Oh, this one. Oh, just before you go, I'm sorry about that, but this one involves the pull request templates as well. Did you see that?
Okay. Go. Did I see what?
What happened here is that you didn't return back to the main branch and created a new branch before you started to add this app CSS thing. Do you understand?
Oh, for real? It's still on the same one?
Yeah, you were still on the same one. So now we have those two files included in this PR as well.
Are you kidding me? The app CSS is in that same PR?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you probably what you need to do is just to close this PR yourself and recreate this by cherry picking this commit, which is probably these two commits.
Yeah, the first ones.
Right.
No worries. Are you going to be, by any chance, are you going to be coding in the morning?
Tomorrow is a working day, so
Okay. All right. So
back to work. But we can catch up tomorrow. No problemos. Thank you, Chima, for your contributions. All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Right. Okay. So let's take a look at those actions. Basically, let me just see if we can git pull upstream main. So I'm going to make sure that I have the latest code on my machine, and I'm going to do we're using npm install.
I also noticed that if I push changes to my repo, that it also automatically goes to the Agile Ventures repo.
No, it does not. No, automatically goes to the. What it does, it updates your PR, but not. It doesn't automatically pushes up to our main repository. No. So if you would if you have a feature branch and you create a pull request, and then you continue to work on that particular feature branch, then the PR will be automatically updated. This is actually a good thing, because then you can, if you know you're working on a feature that will span over a day or 2 days or what have you, you can create a PR so people can see it, or and you can mark it, in title, for instance. What I usually do is just to say WIP stands for work in progress, and I just keep on pushing to my own branch, and the PR is automatically updated, and people can follow my work if they want, or I can ask for support or what have you. The only time it will be, part of the Agile Ventures repo is when it gets merged. Before that, it's only a PR. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's good. And yeah, it's regarding the GitHub actions, so it makes sense.
Right. Let's see what the actions tell me here if I go here. Right. Merge pull, right. And we have a failing test. What would that be? What is failing here?
That's because my workflow, I don't even know what version of my workflow it's using to tell you what's wrong, but it's because the workflow isn't proper yet.
Okay. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna pull in those PRs from you regarding the workflow, and then we're gonna fix it so it works properly. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I can just take this one. Right. Okay, so now we have a conflict here. Okay, you know what? Let's not pull this in, actually. Let's just try to fix this instead. So I'm just going to do git, well, let's see, cat package JSON. Let's see, so what are we talking about? So we have CI open, right, super static source, right, super, right. Okay. Right, so I'm going to create a new branch, test setup, or yeah, Cypress setup fixes. Right, and I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna just create in progress fix Cypress setup. Right. Why can't I? Right, let's see. Cypress, was it is no. As a developer. Oh shit. My computer really went for vacation as well or something. I don't know. As a developer, in order to simplify my workflow.
So you're writing like a user story?
Yeah, I would like the test command to start the application and run tests in one command. I would like to be able to start the application and run this in one command. Right. So that's what I want to do. I want to and both in headless and head full mode. Right. I know this is not a real word. Headful. I don't know. Perhaps this is not a real word, but who gives a shit, right? As long as we all understand.
You could have written headless and not.
Yeah. But it's actually somebody. I know that we are referring to headful sometimes. Well, anyway, it could be like that. Okay. So
Could you actually explain headless for a moment? Is that like when you're running it without the browser opening?
Exactly. Exactly. So let's open this one up. Someday today. Here we are. And so I'm gonna have to yeah, non-GUI, exactly. Thank you, Marble. So it's still a big ass application, but we should be able to remove the super static. We don't need super static. Right, we don't actually need that one. And so we can remove this. Right, and then we can just say something like this. Npm install and save dev, and it's called, the best way to do that is to add let's see, what is it called? Yeah, start. What is it? Underscores or is it dashes? It is dashes. Start server and test. Right, this is the one we want, because then we can build this this compound command that will allow us to start the server and test at the same time, and that will help us in our continuous integration setup. Base URL, we can set that to come on, local host 3000, and then we're going to say Chrome web security will be set to false, and then we're just going to format this. Right, why don't you want to format this? There we go. Right, HTTP / of course, forgot that. And so we can close this, and so here we have start, and we can create one that is called start silent, because so the React script starts the application and opens a browser, right? So we don't want that sometimes. So that's why I often create a silent start, which would basically say that we add this environmental variable browser equals none, and then we just say React scripts start, right? But we can also tell this guy that it should start on port 3000, so we don't miss that. port 3000. Right. Okay, so now we have this, and then so we have CI open, Cypress open, right? CI run, Cypress run. That's okay. That's perfectly all right. And then we can say that we create another one that we call Cypress, and we call it Cypress on CI, right? So that would be the Cypress command that will be run on continuous integration using our actions. So here we can say start server and test, and we tell this guy that we want to start the silent one, and then we just want to wait for the server on HTTP localhost 3000 to be finished before we do anything else. And the next thing we want to do is to say ci.run. That would be the headless way of starting this. And we can copy the same command and add a new version of this. But here we can remove the CI, and we still want to say start server and test. We still want to say start silent, and we still want to go localhost 3000. But here we don't want the run because we are on our own computer, and so we probably want to say open, which is the one that runs the headful version. All right. And we're not using, to my knowledge, we're not using any tests that are written in Jest or in test React app, so we don't need this on line 72. And we also don't want to eject, which means that we can remove the eject eject script. We don't need that for anything. I do not know what this one does, but I guess it does something, so we're going to keep it around, of course. Right. And so we're just going to check my memory on my computer. Right. I'm still on 79% capacity, so I don't know what's going on really. But okay, now in principle we should be able to just say npm run Cypress, npm run Cypress, and let's see what that does for us. And because now in the previous setup we needed to start the application in one terminal and then run the tests in another one, and here we can we can do that in one single command. There are some deprecation warnings, but that could be dealt with later. Let's see if this is doing its magic for us or not. Haven't gotten around to write that document yet, and hopefully we are fixing some stuff anyway. We'll see if we get to that.
Which document?
Exactly, about how to create pull requests and how to contribute and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
That's interesting. Since we're watching you on Twitch, we hear you live, but we see it a bit delayed.
I know. There's. I wonder how much of a delay there is. Let's see if I wave now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 seconds delay, I guess.
Yeah, it's gotten kind of bad.
Shit. All right.
Oh well.
It is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I will be at my office, so it will be better. Well, and on Tuesday, I mean, I'm gonna be at my office, so it's gonna be better. Right. We're still waiting.
Yeah, if I run the tests on my computer while in Google Meet, it takes very, very long.
And that's because the application is very big, you know? That's because we have a lot of dependencies still, even though it's been cleaned up. If you look at the dependencies list, it's still fairly large. Go ahead, Silo.
Yeah, I actually wonder, like, the server starting taking so long. This hasn't been there for such a long time. I think like only like a month back, still like it started within 5 seconds. I wonder how that came up.
So it's dependent on quite a few variables. It's hard to say what it is. There are some diagnostics tools we can probably take a look at some point, but at this point it's mainly because I am both streaming and having this Google Meet open and running the tests at the same time, you know. So that's probably that. I don't know if if we're still gonna, if I'm not gonna share my screen, it's perhaps better to switch over to like Discord audio or Slack audio, because I think it's not that heavy on the on my computer, or I don't know. For devs, well, it's the regular. So Marble Wraith is asking what package we're using for a development server. That is the so we're starting it using the React scripts, which is the built-in way of doing that. But we're using the start server and test package to make sure that our tests are not being executed before the service actually started. So that's what I'm doing at this point. Yes, Taslo, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to say, like, when I deleted some packages or uninstalled them, I just started with that. So I think there's about 10 more that can be uninstalled, or maybe even more.
Right.
I just at this moment feel a little bit unsecure still of like creating a pull request, and because like I don't know about the flow completely.
Right,
Like,
but we
I
did
think
cover the flow already at some point in quite detail. So this is recorded, but we will go over this again today. Absolutely. And being unsecure is perfectly fine. It's nothing bad will happen. Don't worry about it. And the good thing with version control is that even if we fuck up in one way or another, we can always roll things back. So there is nothing to worry about. That didn't fly at all. Or did it? No, it did not. Let's see. Right. Well, it kind of did. Yeah. We probably want to accept this guy, right? Is this a text-based thing? No, it's not. Right. Right. Akzeptieren. Let me just write this test slightly different. So first of all, pose models. Right. So we have the Cypress thing here, and we have the integration test title. Right. So when I work with acceptance tests, I usually use the word feature and not test. So I'm going to rename this. I'm going to pull rank on this one. So that is that, and then I would also change this to 2. What is this? Extensions, JavaScript language. Okay. Right. Right. Okay. Live SAS compiler to run to complete. Okay. Never mind that. Prettier is semicolon table tab with 2. Right. Okay. So I'm just gonna format this. There we go. And I'm gonna quick fix this. Right. So here we good on that one. And then I will say title. Okay. So now we don't have to do localhost because I did set this base URL, so we should be good to go on this one. Okay. And also we're gonna change this quote preserve quote properties semi-true single quote. That should be actually set to true, but it doesn't matter. Right. But why is he canceling this? API screams frontend screams project. Why would that be happening? So he is making calls. No tests files. What? Because I changed that to feature. Right, somebody set that up already. Cypress. Git ignore envy Firebase package. Cypress JSON. Why would that be the case? That should take it. Right. All right, because I renamed the file, so that's why it isn't.
Can you rename it in the URL? I'm seeing like 7 seconds.
So what I did was that I added the base URL of the application to the cypress.json file, and now we don't have to state the URL, just the path in our tests.
I meant, well, I see now that it has changed. I meant from title.test.js to title.feature.js.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's why I had to restart it.
I just saw things delayed. That's why.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. But this is going green. But it's a very slow test for some reason. So the reason why it is that slow is because we're not stubbing out the calls to the APIs. It is actually querying the real API, which is something that we need to do at some other point. But it's out of scope for what I'm doing at the moment, so I don't need to deal with that right now. I was thinking about rewriting them, but again, one should stay in scope. And the only thing I wanted to fix is the setup. So I can stop this. Stop this. Git status. Right. Git add. Git status again. Right. We have this. Bum. Git diff. Nothing, of course, because I already committed that. So git CIAM adds package. No, adds command to run both headless and headful. Headless and headful tests in or E2E tests in one command, on one line, using one liner. Right, that's okay. Right, and now I do git push origin. So I'm pushing up to myself now, people. Right, I'm pushing up to myself, and that automatically gives me a URL that I can run here, and that should, in principle, open a browser for me. If it does that, or if it doesn't, then it doesn't. It did, but it's slow.
Thomas, which command automatically gave you a URL?
When I pushed up for the first time to myself from that feature branch, when I pushed up to my own there's a lot of background there. Then I can see something like this. So I can open this up from my own command line, and that's what I'm doing. So I will just X this out. Since we don't have a pull request template yet, I need to move over to my Zen Hub here. Just take this. So usually I want to take the same title of my the same title on my pull request that I'm using on the issue that I'm fixing, right? This one should correspond to the other, to the issue, right? And here I can say fixes, and now I can grab the link to this one, which I guess is where. Is there a link here somewhere? Well, I can take this. No, I'd rather take this. It's from here. So since we're using issues, so I'm just gonna grab this. Like this, and I would say fixes this. Fixes runs a command to run both headless. Right, and then I'm creating the PR like this. All right. So that is pretty much what I want to do in this pull request, and that link automatically becomes a link to the issue, and that's what I'm doing here. And there are 5 files changed. Right, Carl, go ahead.
Kurz warten. Sorry, I wanted to ask. You could have also could you have just written fixes #85 without doing the link, and we've been smart enough to.
Okay. All right. Didn't know that. Good stuff.
I think so.
Right. Okay, then now somebody needs to review it and merge this. I don't merge my own code, so I will not do that. But let's see. Let's now, and this is really important. Once you have, once you think that you're done with your feature, like I am working on a specific feature branch that is called Cypress setup fixes. I always need to check out my main branch. Back to the main branch of the project, and now I simply need to wait for this to be merged, basically. So I'm done with my work on this one, and now it's somebody else's hands, and I shouldn't be in too much of a hurry. I need people to have time to take a look at this, at my work, and decide whether it's mergeable or not. And if I want to continue to work on something else, then I will again I always need to go back to my main branch and check out a new one if I want to do that. And the best way to do that is by saying git checkout -b and say, for instance, I want to work on another branch that is called PR flow documentation, right? So I create a branch from the main branch. This is really, really important. I cannot create a new branch from the Cypress setup fixes, directly jumping over to a new feature branch, because then my commits on that branch will follow me into this one, and I don't want that. That's what happened to Chima's branch, for instance, right? And so we don't want that. Good. So now I would like to perhaps first of all close all the stuff that are not being used. Let's see if we can create a new folder, and we can call it documentation, right? And inside of that docs we can add a new file, and we will call this one create a pull request .md, like this. For instance, we can always work with that. All right. How to create a pull request. Right. So step 1, always work on a feature branch that you create out of the main branch of the project. Okay, and now example, for instance, right? So we can do $, and we say git checkout -b, and then my branch name, or whatever, name of my branch or whatever, right? Something like this. And then note the B flag on the checkout command does two things. A, or 1, creates a new branch, and 2, switches to that branch. Does that make sense? Because there are other ways to create branches in Git by saying git branch whatever new or whatever, but this is the fastest way to both create it and check it out at the same time. Does that make sense? Anyone? I know that there's.
Yes, sounds amazing.
Okay. All right. So then we have two, like, do your thing. Do your thing. You know, add tests and implementation code. When you have at least one commit, go ahead and create a work in progress pull request. Okay, and just gonna.
Isn't that optional? Won't it be some PRs where you're probably you're done, and or should we just call them all WIP?
No, you should call them work in progress when they are work in progress. But what I would say that like most of the pull requests will involve more than one commit, and it will take some time, even if it's just a few hours or so on. You will probably create, you will work on them. And I would like, as a default, because we are a distributed team, and we can discuss this in plenum later on, or today, I don't know. But since we are a distributed team, I would suggest that we always work with work in progress so that people don't forget that. I would like to have this in the instructions so people don't forget that step. Because let's say that Carmen and you are collaborating on something, Carl, and you guys can go on and discuss, blah, 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 blah. It's getting late. Okay, off we go. Let's pick this up tomorrow or, in a few days' time or what have you, right? And if you haven't created a work in progress pull request, even if we just say that this is optional, you might want to think that it doesn't really matter. We don't have to do that. So if you don't do that, and then all of a sudden you forget about this, you forget about the work the web thing, or you just get a new job and abandon the project, then and I know I'm painting a worst case scenario here, but then that particular code will be lost because it will be only on your local computer, and the rest of the community cannot access it. So by always having that flow, that as soon as you have something, you just create a WIP PR, and it's there. And even if you just stop working on that, somebody else can check it out and keep on working on that. Then nothing. There is a very little risk that any work will get lost. Does that make sense?
I get it. If one person doesn't push it, and then the next person wants to continue on that branch.
Right.
It's all just new, because we have our own forked repos, so we would work on the branch on our forked repo. Okay, but now we're doing it. We should create the PR then already.
Yes.
All right. That's good that we're doing this with you.
Right.
One question about the work in progress. Is this the label that you can add, or is it?
Well, you can. So the lowest hanging fruit here is actually just to set it in the title. You see, if you take a look at I know there's a slight delay on Twitch, but if you take a look at my pull request that I just created, it's just called Fix Cypress Setup, right? I can edit this title, and I can add the WIP prefix. I just add it like this, and I save it, and it's listed. It just has WIP in the title, and that's about it. And if when you think that you're done, or you think that this is no longer a work in progress, then you can just edit this again and remove those 3 letters from the title, and that's it. Do you understand? Or so that's one way of doing this. Or we can add a label that is that it is a a work in progress. Do you understand? So we can add that to our labels, and I can actually do that. So I can say new label, and I will just say WIP and description work in progress. And I can give it a red color or something, or dark red color. And now I can just add a label here to this one. Should be work in progress like this. But I don't want to do that now, so because this is not a work in progress. Is that okay, Tassilo? Which one would you like to go with?
Yeah, with the label sounds good. Like
right.
Both, but label is probably even better.
Right, by adding a VIP label to the PR. Right, on GitHub. Well, just that goes without saying, right? And it's going to say that this is an important step. Please do not forget to do that. Right, okay. Continue to do your thing. And then note that every time you commit and push to your own repository, and I will just clarify your fork, right? The pull request, the PR will be updated with those commits. There is no reason to close the PR and open a new one when you make changes. Right, I just want to clarify this for people who are not that familiar with pull request flow, because I've been around with both students and developers, and that I added some implementation code, I added some tests, I created a PR, and now I want to add some more stuff, and now I feel that I need to close my PR and then open a new one because they don't notice that it actually gets updated on every commit. Does that make sense? Anyone?
Yes,
I missed it.
So.
Well, okay, it happens. All right.
Yeah, apologize. I'm getting confused between Twitch and Chrome, but I'm following you. Totally makes sense. Now it's very clear to me.
Gotcha. All right, good stuff. Right, and then once you think that your PR is ready for final review, final peer review, or review by your peers, make sure that you request a review from at least one team member. Better yet, request a review from 2 or 3 members in case people are busy, or just busy and can't spend time on the project at the moment, or whatever, right? You understand what I'm trying to say here, right? That we need at least one review, but in case to make that happen, perhaps we need to ask 2 or 3 people to make that review, so that we get more eyes on the code. But if somebody is out of town, or they're they at this point not available, we at least get a PR from somebody of the 3 ones. Does that make sense, people?
Yeah.
All right. Right. This project, the project is configured in a way that prevents your PR to be merged unless there is a review that approves it. Right. There is at least one review that approves it. Right. I think people can understand what that means. We can always rephrase this in better English if needed. Right. 5. The reviewer will approve and merge your code if it is okay. If not, he can request changes to be made. Go ahead, Carl. That case,
would we create another document for how to test a branch locally?
So if we have continuous integration set up, you don't need to test the branch locally.
Okay, that's only for tests that exist, right? What I mean, what if I'm writing a test and someone else wants to test my test?
Writing a test and somebody wants to test your test. Isn't that what continuous integration does?
Sorry, I've got a headache, but let me think once again. I mean, our CI will run the tests that we've already written, right? So
Right.
if the test doesn't exist, it can't run it. So
yes.
If I create a test and I want the team member to review the test that I've created, the CI won't have that yet, correct?
Of course it will. Now hold on a second. The CI will tap into the tests that you've written on your pull request.
Okay, I didn't know that.
No. So the tests. You mean okay? So you think that only the tests that have been merged into the code will be run by continuous integration. I understand that way of thinking, but just to clarify, like CI, if properly set up, we're gonna have to return to that, check that flow and so on. But the continuous integration will run all the tests that are present on that particular PR. That's the idea, generally.
That's cool. I didn't know
Right,
that.
no.
I mean, that's why we're learning.
Right. But there is another thing, of course, which we can cover, and that is, since we are not always, I mean, in this project there is a technical debt here because most of the application is actually not tested. Then somebody needs to check out that branch. We can add a description about that as well. Check it out, spin up the application, click around just to make sure that it still works and so on, right? Which is basically the manual version of running tests and making sure that CI, that's what we do on a continuous integration server. But we can add that. Anyway, in that case, you will have to address the any outstanding comments and add the requested changes. If you do not agree with the reviewer's suggestions or requests, you need to address the comments on the PR itself, not in Slack or email, etc. Right. So what we are saying here is that if somebody has some comments on my code that I added, they can add some comments on GitHub on every line of code, asking why is this, why don't you rewrite this code somehow, or you can always make comments in your code review. And so instead of taking this discussion over to Slack or email or even a Google Meet or what have you, one should always, if the comment is written as a comment on GitHub, it should also be addressed or answered on GitHub and not anywhere else. Does that make sense? Kind of?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. I think it's an important principle. Go ahead, Carl.
If you start a conversation on GitHub, but the person hasn't really answered yet, you could kind of nudge them on Slack.
You can nudge them on Slack. You can nudge them anywhere. Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you should. I mean, if you have comments that really needs to be answered, because sometimes there are stylistic comments, right? I suggest that you name this differently. That is not a hard requirement. Then you just make a comment. And sometimes people will ignore you. Things like that happens in open source projects. But if it's something really, really important that you feel strongly about, then you should basically block the merge ability of this PR. So you should you should request changes. You should not approve of the PR. So it depends a little bit on the validity of the comment and how important it is and so on. But I don't know if we should address that in this document, but it differs from time to time. I hope that makes sense to you guys.
That's something new. So if I feel like I have to get feedback before it gets merged, I can block the PR.
Yeah, then block this. Definitely. Hi, Raisin. We are trying to build a contribute document here. Jump in the meet if you want to, if you want to take part in this. On the beach, well, F you. I envy you. Okay, on the beach. Are you watching us like in the sun, wherever on your cell phone? That's so unfair. But then again, I was on vacation for 4 days, so. Right, made improved the merge, so you need to address the comments in the PR. Right, on the PR itself, not in Slack. If the PR is marked mark. No, let's not deal with this at the moment. It's like arrangement. Right. Then 6, we can say something like, right, there is no reason to close. Right. Right, we can add to number 3, add a description to the PR based on the template, and if your code, or if the code introduces new functionality that is visible to the end user, please provide, or please add screenshots of the new user interface. And also, I don't know if this is viable, Tesla. Is this application mobile friendly? Like, is it?
It was actually intended to be, like, at the beginning I didn't have a desktop side.
Okay.
Desktop side is actually fairly new at the beginning of only mobile.
Okay. Don't forget to include screenshots for both desktop and mobile devices. Right. So you understand what I'm saying here, that in your PR description you should include screenshots, because that will help people in their assessment of the code and of the pull request. So yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. Right. Oh gosh, Pedro, go on, Tesla.
I wanted to ask, do you think it's too much to put all the steps also in, like saying like how to commit and how to commit it to the Azure Ventures Zenf client?
Sure. No, well,
Like,
that's a different story, right? I don't think we can. We're over on 1 hour 45 minutes now. So the answer is yes. Like, we should have a separate document on how to create these kind of the issues and everything else. Definitely, but perhaps not in this particular document. Does that make sense?
okay, so stuff like git add and then a dot behind that, and
that's
commit, and
well that's not issues. That's the commands on how to create that. I thought you were talking about issues.
yeah, no, I mean, like from this document, I understand the workflow, but I still do not know like how to commit after I worked on the code, how to commit to the Azure Ventures Zenf client repo, for an instance, because
I'm missing the point here. So you know how okay, so the Zen client, the Zen okay, let's see. So the issues here are created on GitHub itself, right? Just that.
Mhm.
Okay, and so your coding has nothing to do with issues per se. I'm just trying to understand what you're
No,
asking
I'm
over
just
here.
wondering because, like at the beginning, you're saying, so create a branch by git checkout, and then work on that, and then at some point do a pull request. Right?
Yes.
And then, but then, like at the beginning, I can understand now. Okay, how to make my branch, but like how to push it then. I cannot
So do you want me to spell out the exact commands on how to push or what is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, I wonder if it would be okay to put it in here, or is it too much, or
No, no, I can add the commands how to push to your own branch and then how to create a PR. But what I was reacting to is because you mentioned issues and the Agile Ventures issues, the flow of creating a pull request has nothing to do with the issues per se. Carmen, you raised your hand. Do you want to clarify on this?
No, actually, I was kind of trying to understand his question because I think I'm getting a little confused as well in that regard. I think what's kind of missing, and I'm not sure about the GitHub issues. I am clear on that. I think it's how do we do a pull request against the Agile Venture Sends client. I think that's kind of
There
what's
is no
missing.
pull requests. Okay, I got you.
So
All right,
like
okay.
so
Nah,
basically my understanding, and like I said, I was also off last week, but my understanding is that we have to fork the brand. We have to for the project and then work on our own repository
yes.
and branches, and then once we think it's ready, we had to issue a pull request against Agile Venture. And I
Yes.
think the part that it's missing, or we're not clear, at least this is new for me, right? It's
Okay, I got you.
how do we issue a pull request against the
Okay.
Agile Venture
Okay.
main branch?
Okay, I got you.
Was
I
that-
got you.
uh, thank you.
Just so we are clear, all three, four of us, I did that 20 minutes ago. Uh, just that. But I can redo that so A, you can see this, and B, we can document this. Okay, guys?
Yeah, I was gonna rewatch the video.
No,
That was
it's
in my
okay.
to-do list.
It's
But
okay.
I think what he's asking you is to add it on the
All
document.
right, all right.
That's my
Yeah,
understanding. Again,
yeah.
I'm not sure if
Okay, all right.
I'm correct or not.
So guys,
Sorry.
uh, just so we are clear on this one, I'm gonna close this one. Let's see, how am I gonna close this? I can, yeah, like closing this PR for demo purposes. Okay, I'm just gonna close this one. Okay, so here is the thing, and I'm gonna recreate this and take a few screenshots. Okay, guys. Uh, so we can add this to the documents. So A, pay attention, and B, help me if I need to clarify something for you. So here's the thing. I am oh shit, I am on. Okay, hold on a second. Let's see. Git add. I need to commit this first before I do anything else, right? Git CI AM. Hold on a second.
I gotta go, so I just want to say good night.
Oh, okay,
See you
all right.
Tuesday.
See you later. All right. Git AM starts the peer flow document. There we go. Okay, and now I will check out. So forget about this peer flow doc, and I will just check what branches I have. Cypress, right? So git checkout Cypress setup fixes. Okay, so here we are, folks. I am on my Cypress setup fixes pull request. and let's say that I am just make a small addition to somewhere. I don't know what I should add. I could just add should is instead of should. By the way, I never use should. I always say is expected to have a page title set to, for instance, come on. Come on. Right. Set to, right. Okay, so I have a small change in my code, and I want to commit that. So what I'm doing here now is to do git status as usual, right? You know this. I mean, you know how to work with Git at this point. And so we modified this feature test. So I do git commit, and I just issue the AM flag. And I know there was a debate on whether this is safe, but this is safe in my opinion. So I'm going to do this, and I will say updates the test for message, because I only did a small change here, right? And now I want to say git push origin. Origin is my fork, and then in this case Cypress setup fixes, like this. Okay, so now if we read through this thing, we can just say that it gives us an okay that the push actually worked, and we actually got that that code up to my repository. Does that make sense so far? I pushed up to my fork of the project. Are you guys okay with that?
Can you so this is your local, your Ford repository right now?
No, so I code on my local version that has been cloned from my fork. There is a fork, and there's a list of forks actually on the Agile Ventures repo, so you can always check that out, what forks do exist. And we can see that there is a fork on GitHub of this repository under my own account, right? And there is one, I guess, for you somewhere. I don't know yet what your username is, Carmen. Is that CDE? Is that you? Yes, it is. Right. So there's a fork of that. If we go to that particular fork, we can see that there is a branch that is called Cypress Setup Fixes. This branch only exists A, on my local computer, and B, on my fork of this repository. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It doesn't exist on Agile Ventures yet. Tassilo, are you with that as well?
Yes.
Good stuff.
So,
all right.
So if I look at the config file on my Git, I'll see the origin is pointing to my local for
No, not
repository.
local. Not local.
I'm sorry, so the remote one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. On GitHub, right. Okay. So if we now head over to Agile Ventures, right? If I have pushed up to my branch, if we now go to pull requests, right, and I click on new pull request, and I can make a I can make right, I can just copy, like take a screenshot of this, and if I click on new pull request, and I will not use the automatic flow that I could use before, then you can compare, you have this compare changes view. So here you have to choose why isn't this visible? Compare across forks. I want to compare across forks. Why can't the fuck? Right, this is the one we want to look. Head repository, and I want to go to Tochman Senf client, which is me, right? In your case, Carmen, it would be CDE Senf client, and in your case, Tassilo, it would be this one, right? But since I want to make a pull request from my own, then I can actually make a screenshot of this. Let's see, comparing changes, something like this, right? And so I choose my fork, and then I compare. Here I choose the branch, as you can see. So let me just take that screenshot as well. And here I'm going to use setup fixes, and now we will see that there are things that will be updating the code like this. Okay, and so here it will tell me automatically that it's able to merge. You know, if it's not able to merge, there will be a problem. You will see some red text here and so on. But the important thing here is that the base repository is set to Agile Ventures Self Client base main, and the head repository, which means where the changes are coming from, is set to my fork and then my branch that I want to create this from. Does that make sense?
Yes, a lot.
You with that too, Carmen?
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah,
all right.
Perfect.
And now,
thank you so much.
All right, and now we need to click on this create pull request button, right? If we now click on this guy, we are in this view where you can set the title and the pull request description, right? So here we can say fixes, and then I think, as Carl said, I can just say hash 85 because I remember that was the Cypress setup, and now I can create the PR like this. So I should be able to do this, create this PR like that. And now the PR is created. And now it waits for review. Merging is blocked so far. I will request Pedro, because he's on the beach. He should he should do a PR review on this one. And I can also add Tassilo, right? So I can add you, I think. Right. So I added you as a PR reviewer, and see if Pedro doesn't have time, then you can review it basically. Okay. So once it has been reviewed, it can be merged. That's how we can do this. Questions on this? We good?
Yeah,
Yes.
It's super clear. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problemos. And then now I just want to switch back to my PR flow branch. and now I can continue to document this thing, right? So what I can do here is that I will take this off stream actually because we're on 2 hours, but what I can do is that I can now I can add these screenshots to this document, or create a new subsection where these you can do this step by step. Do you understand? And make sure that that it's also a little more, a bit more visual per se for people. What is that? Non-backspace key not found. What is that? Markdown extension. I don't understand this. Anyway, I can't delete. Anyway, that it is what it is. So guys, what I will do now is, because there is another way to do this again, as I showed you before, when you're making your first commit to your own fork, like I will do now, because I will do Git Push Origin PR flow, unless I've done it already. When you make the first commit to your own branch, then you will get this this message in your terminal. Create a pull request for this branch on GitHub by visiting this particular URL. So I can just copy this URL and issue this open command in my terminal, paste this URL, and that will take me automatically to this view on GitHub where I can create this pull request. Do you understand? But that is only available to me the first time I'm making a commit, and then GitHub will preset this head repository to Tochman Senf client in this case, and the branch will be chosen for me. It will be the correct one, and so I can create this PR from here, and I can just add this work in progress because this one is not ready to go, and I can set the label to work in progress just so we're sure on this, and create this PR. This one is not supposed to be merged yet because it's still work in progress. I will add more content to this pull request later on. So now you've seen a demonstration on how I can work on two tasks almost at the same time by jumping back and forward between different branches of this project. And note that on this particular pull request, the only commit that is visible and that is taken into consideration will the one that deals with starting this pull request flow document, and on the other one, that is the Cypress setup, it will not contain that commit because it's out of scope, right? There are two separate flows here. But it's getting a bit late, so we need to call it a day. But also, just as a final comment, to go through all of these flows and make sure that everything flows properly, it takes a little bit getting used to. So don't worry about that if you mess anything up or you think you mess anything up, because as I said earlier on in this session, we are working with version control. If anything goes south, we can always fix it by rolling back changes and so on. So I wouldn't worry about this too much. Right. Tassilo, did you learn anything today?
Yes, a lot. Thank you so much. Really, really nice.
Carmen?
Definitely. It's all clear now. Thank you so much.
No problemos. All right, guys. Twitch, thank you very much for following along. This will be uploaded as usual to YouTube and made available on the Agile Ventures website soon enough. And if nothing else, I'll see you guys on Tuesday.